Step number 7 is you want to increase your percentage of your income that you invest, okay? So once you start getting to a point where you're making more and more income, every year you should try to have your, the percentage of your income that is going towards your investment grow and grow and grow. And this, the reason that this is important is because of the last final step. And the last final step is really where you achieve the truest freedom in life, is only live off of what your investment portfolio yields you. So let's say that you have an investment portfolio. Let's say you're 25 years old and you followed all these steps. And let's say you follow these steps and you're 14, let's say you're 17, maybe even you're 19 years old, and you follow these steps and you have an investment portfolio of $2 million. And if that sounds crazy, trust me, don't box yourself in like that. Don't limit yourself and your scope of thinking. So as I said, let's say you get to $2 million a year. Off that, let's say that you are yielding 8% a year. That is $160,000 a year passively. The truest freedom is when your investment portfolio, as in your true passive income, that pays for your life. And if you can get to that point, and that's kind of a cool stage where I'm at in life right now, where my lifestyle can be entirely paid for by my investment portfolio, which means that all of the money that I earn in my businesses can go straight into my investment portfolio. So let's say, to give you sort of realistic benchmarks, this year the businesses will hit, I think combined anywhere from, let's say $3.5 million to $5 million profit, right? So if I can contribute, let's say hypothetically an extra $4 million, and let's say I'm yielding 10% from that, I put another $4 million into my investment portfolio this year. And that means that I get back an extra $400,000 a year in yield. I've just gone ahead and from this year, 2022, from my business earnings, I've gone ahead and allowed myself to spend an extra $400,000 a year for the rest of my life. And if I go ahead and do that again next year, then that stacks and that compounds and compounds. The average person has a worse attention span than a goldfish, and that's who you're competing against. So on the good news, that means that just with the tiniest bit of discipline and work ethic, you are already ahead of 90% of people. And before we even begin, you need to understand that your ability to control your urges is directly correlated to your success or lack thereof. If you cannot control yourself, if you cannot be disciplined, you will never be successful. It is simply impossible. And that is why it's so important for you to master your urges. I've told people many times when they ask me, I go, listen, I am built for this life because I have an insane stress tolerance, but my life is not the same life that other people should live. But the reason you clicked on this video is because you want to learn how to become a millionaire. And as I said, if you want to get to that position, you need to increase your ability to handle stress. Now, bear in mind, one thing I will say, it's not something that needs to happen overnight. It's something that progresses. I can handle a certain level of stress in 2023 that I simply couldn't handle in 2018 or 2019. In fact, some of my biggest businesses with the most amount of employees, the reason that I didn't pursue or start those businesses or move forward with those businesses in 2018 or 2019, even though I was given the opportunity to, people wanted to start the businesses with me, give me equity, blah, blah, all this, is because I simply knew that back then I did not have the stress tolerance to be able to deal with it. So it's not an overnight thing. It's something that you build over time. But as I said, don't come to the first roadblock and think, oh, it's tough. It's not meant to be tough. It's all meant to be roses and fairy tales. I'm just trying to give you very clear expectations. I think when someone can talk to you very openly and honestly and say that, listen, it's not all perfect, I feel like at least you're a little bit more prepared to go into war. So definitely I can say this about myself, and definitely I can say this about some of the most successful people I know in any realm in life, by the way. Any realm, whether that's sports, whether that's business, whether that's even a high income career, working for a very lucrative company. You need to be able to handle a high level of stress and embrace it. Everyone deserves an opinion, not everyone deserves a say. And here's what I mean by that. There are certain things in life that I simply do not know. I've not done the research. I don't have any life experience. And one of my favorite things when someone asks me my opinion on something that I'm just not very well educated on, I haven't really given much thought or time or attention to it, I just love being able to say, I'll be honest, I don't really have an opinion on that. Or I just say, I can't really make an informed judgment on that. So what I mean by this is I believe everyone deserves an opinion. Everyone can have an opinion, but not everyone deserves a say. And you need to understand that this applies to your parents, to your friends, to maybe sometimes even in your business. I will always take the opinion of everyone in my business, but some people, they deserve an opinion, but they don't deserve a say. And I don't mean that to belittle anyone, because there's areas of my life where I should definitely be allowed an opinion, but maybe I don't really deserve a say because I don't have enough experience in that to really bring anything meaningful to the table. So just remember this next time you're letting other people's judgments cloud that inner direction that you know you have, because a lot of people around you will give you their opinion, you know, your friends, your family, all this, and let them have their opinions. But they shouldn't have a say in how your life goes, because who are they to tell you? Unless it's someone who's extremely successful at what you've done, then yeah, they should probably have a bit of a say in what's going on. So from day one, always distinguish what is an opinion and what is good advice. Those two things are very different. The first habit that actually made me a millionaire was turning my phone on airplane mode. Pretty much the first 3 years of my business was built pretty much entirely while my phone was on airplane mode. And I'll explain why. You see, most people think that the reason they are not a millionaire is because of lack of energy, like they don't have enough energy or motivation to do something, or a lack of knowledge, understanding, and they think these are usually the two main reasons why. That is actually incorrect in 90% of cases. In 90% of cases, the thing that they lack is focus. Because if you have focus, then you will do the work, and doing the work and getting into that state of flow actually gives you that energy and motivation. And when you are someone who can sit down and focus on a task for a prolonged period of time, you will inevitably get the knowledge and information that you need in order to make $1 million. So this is why putting your phone on airplane mode is so important, because ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world where there's constant notification, constant distractions. So, most people, the phone isn't enough. Most people have, an Apple Watch with notifications going on 24/7, and their computer is binging here and binging there. You need to reclaim your focus. You should not let anyone rob you of the most important thing that you have, which is your focus and your attention. The next habit that made me a millionaire by the age of 18 was choosing the right vehicle. It absolutely breaks my heart to see people who work so incredibly hard, are so dedicated, but yet no matter how hard they work, by the age of 30, they will never even see $1 million. I mean, really, these are people who sacrifice all of their 20s. And the reason that is because they have not chosen the right vehicle. Now, the right vehicle is one of two things. It's something where either you're paid very well for your time, or it's something that you can actually use leverage. Now, when I say leverage, I mean you can outsource to people, you can hire people, you can build a product and it can sell without you actually being the person to deliver. Now, the business that I started when I was 16 years old, a lot of you guys probably already know my story, and the business that I've been running for 5.5 years now. The business that I started actually was a tick for both of those. It was something where I was paid very, very well. When I started my business, which is an online boutique marketing agency, at first it was actually a creative agency, the first year and a half, and I was paid good retainers by clients in order to shoot content for them and then actually distribute and grow their social platforms. And that was great, but really after the first 9 months of doing it, I was kind of capped out at around $10,000 to $15,000 a month. So that's when I started to use leverage. I started to hire contractors, and I actually repositioned my offer to run ads for online businesses. And that was really when I started hitting the $100,000 months plus in my business. Now, I know that a lot of you guys may take this the wrong way, and you may think, oh, that's terrible to think that, you're better than other people. Now, bear in mind, you're not disrespectful towards other people, but in certain domains, you're better than other people. You think Michael Jordan doesn't look at everyone around him and goes, yeah, I'm better than you guys? Do you think that industry leaders and shakers don't look at themselves and go, yeah, you know what? I've got something special to me? Now, when it gets dangerous, and I'm sure we all know these people, are the ones that think that they are special, but they won't put in the work. The reason you can think you are better than other people is because you have simply put in more hours, more time, and more work. So listen, you should absolutely believe you are special. You should absolutely believe that almost to an extent, you're better than most other people who are so brain dead, so asleep, are so scared to run towards the things they want in life. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with having these feelings as long as you back it up. Because if you don't back it up, then it is simply delusional. And I will be honest with you, there are lots of people, as I said, I'm sure you know lots of people that are extremely delusional. They're like, I'm gonna be a billionaire. Cool. Do you have a plan? Do you have any sort of roadmap? In fact, let's put that to the side. Have you even made $10,000 in your life? Have you made $100,000 in your life? So let's not talk about billionaire status yet. So as I said, you never ever want to be delusional in life. But you should always have that feeling of being special, of being meant for more in life. I can tell you for a fact, growing up from the age of even 6 or 7, I just had that feeling that I was destined for more, that something great was going to come out of my life. And that was even from a young age. And I remember even, in school at the age of 13 or 14 years old, feeling a sense of like, yeah, I was better than my peers. Even though at that time, I hate to use the word bullying, but I was being picked on heavily. I was a complete outcast, a complete outsider. Within the realm of school, I failed in every single arena you could think of. And yet I still had that feeling of like, no, I'm working towards something bigger. I was trying little side hustles and little businesses and this and that. So in life, humility is extremely important. And you should be able to assess your life situation and look at your life situation and not be like, as I said, these idiots that are like, oh, I'm gonna be a billionaire, and they just sit on their ass all day and don't do anything about it. You should feel special. And then you should put in a special amount of work, a special amount of dedication to prove it to the world. And that's exactly what I did.